Let's also welcome on board Sandip Sabharwal, who's joining in on the show. Sandip, morning. Let's get in your take first up as to how you're looking at the entire metal sector. That continues to hog the limelight on the upside. Was the top sectoral gainer, incidentally, yesterday. Are you seeing strong potential within metals?
Metals is largely a China recovery play. So what's happening is that as the Chinese markets are recovering, so there's growing confidence that the economy will also recover. And by definition, given that China consumes 50 to 60% of most commodities, the commodities will also recover. So I think that's the play in commodities. Now, Chinese economic recovery is a question mark. So I think that's something we need to watch out for. So the current rally has been good, but I think sustainability remains a question mark. So I would say that these metal stocks largely factor in most positive. If you see the way most of these stocks have moved, especially Vedanta, like the up move has been quite substantial.
Sandeep, hi, morning. Another near about 3% fall in Kotak. Have you bought it yet?
I'm not, but I'm encouraged by what's happened on the Bajaj finance front. So where the resolution of the issues happened very fast within 6 months of RBI putting restrictions on Bajaj finance. So I think if Kotak also moves at this pace and the issues get resolved within 6 months, then I think the current prices do present opportunities. So I would say that downside is limited. I have not bought yet, but I'm inclined to buy. So I was thinking more near 1500, but I think with this Bajaj Finance news, maybe it won't fall much from here. So I think it's a good contra bet. It's trading at a valuation. I think at some point of time it went to as high as 7-8 times price to book Kotak. Today it's trading more near 2.1, 2.2 times, which is the lowest it's traded in the last 10 years.
Sandeep, the other thing, and we were just chatting with our previous speaker as well, has been the surprise by Dabur. Massive recovery in the rural numbers. The volumes have, risen up from -5% to now plus 6% growth is what, they've incurred already in the quarter gone by. And we were chatting with the management as well last afternoon. They're saying that there are clear green shoots visible now when it comes to the rural end of the economy. Today, of course, you've got Britannia numbers as well joining in. Would you take a look at FMCG, start nibbling in perhaps? Because this has been quite the under-owned, ignored sort of pocket for almost over a year now.
Yes, absolutely. I think what Dabur numbers and commentary also indicated, and that's something which was likely to happen, that first some sort of recovery started in durable. So we've been seeing what's the recovery companies are talking of, and like if you watched Havel's commentary on ACs, fans, other durables, the same thing now seems to be percolating down to the consumer non-durable side. So Dabur numbers, I think, were quite encouraging. The stocks underperformed for years now. Valuations are reasonable. So I think that's one stock which should definitely be on the radar. And also as a contrarian, we had HUL, which has also been given no returns for the last 5, 6 years. So once the recovery cycle starts, it tends like when the down cycle was there, there was a negative surprise for several quarters. So I think once the up cycle starts, again, people will be surprised on the upside for several quarters. And to that extent, this is definitely a sector to buy into.
Vaishali, hi, morning. What's your reading on the charts of Dabur? Of course, that spurted yesterday after its numbers came out. But Dabur, Unilever, what would be your pick as per the reading on the charts?
Very good morning, all of you. Yes, so it was about time. Whole of FMCG sector, as per se, is ready for a takeoff. So I would say accumulation should be the best strategy. Yesterday, to start with Hindustan Unilever, even if the market were to correct, I think the worst scenario that I would look at would be around 1950 to 2000. So I think it's definitely a level to accumulate. Even Dabur, post its result, it showed a lot of strength, and I think it's ready for a sign of reversal. And I would say it becomes a buy because after a good corrective move and consolidation at around 489, 490 levels, the stock is showing some bullish movement. So yes, for now, it would be just a trading strategy up to 540. But once the stock moves above 540, it brings in further conviction for higher targets. So I would definitely say that yes, FMCG counter on the whole worth giving a look and start accumulating.
Okay, there you have it. That's the view coming in on some of the charts. And let's move right on then and keep it with individual newsmakers. The ET Now newsbreak has been confirmed. The Ugro board has approved their plans to raise about 1,300 odd crores. Let's get in all the details. And my colleague Snehi is here to break it down for us. Snehi.
Well, yes, before we break down Ugro's latest activities, let's also focus on their quarter four numbers that we did see coming in yesterday. NI is up 25%, PAT has been very robust, seeing a growth of 132%. AUM is also up by almost 50%, so numbers are looking pretty healthy for Ugro this time around. Now, coming to their capital fundraise, well, yes, it is an ET Now newsbreak confirmed. The company has announced an equity fundraise of 1,332 crore rupees via a preferential issue, and this is being done via two equity instruments. CCDs, which is compulsory convertible debentures, and warrants. CCDs are being issued worth 275 crore rupees and warrants are being issued worth 1,057 crore rupees. Both of these instruments shall convert into equity within the next 18 months. And some important investors and marquee names. Let's start off by looking at an already existing investor, and that is Samina Capital. Samina Capital already holds 7.5% stake in Ugro, and they have also invested 500 crore rupees via warrants in this round of fundraising. Other important investors when it comes to this fundraising is Madhusudan Kela, Anand Jain, who is the founder of Jaicorp, Manipal Education and Medical Group, which is promoted by Ranjan Pai, the Arjun Juneja family office, they are the family office of Mankind Pharma, Pooja Juneja, also of Mankind Pharma, S4 Capital, which is a family office of one of Alchem Laboratories promoters, Gauri Khan Family Trust, you have the Burman family office as well, which is the Dabur family office, Multi Op Ventures LLP, and Top Gain Finance, also Gold Minerals Resource Development, which is Nitin Goenka, who is a part of the Goenka India Diamond Group. Along with that, you also have Rosy Blue Diamonds as well as Harsh Jain. Now, what's key to note is Ugro's founder, management team and independent directors have also invested into this capital raise, and so that's reflecting some confidence coming in from within the board as well. Also, the company has gone ahead and made an acquisition. They've acquired My Shubh Life, which is an embedded finance fintech platform, and this has been done for 45 crore rupees. The company is now a wholly owned subsidiary of Ugro, and this platform has already partnered with Pine Labs, Finno Payments, Airtel Payments, Bank MobiKwik and much more, which gives a very good leverage to Ugro Capital going ahead as well. So, well, yes, this is the entire news flow that we're getting from Ugro Capital, but a good set of numbers coming in this time around.
Okay. Sandip Sabharwal, I've just joined back into the discussion, but I remember we had a chat around Dabur. You've been owning this stock for years, right?
Yeah, many years, like decades.
Okay. So let's look at a larger point, Sandeep, not just Dabur, but are we at that turn for consumer staples? Consumer staple stocks are trading at P multiples, which actually are not all, but few consumer staple stocks are trading at P multiples, which are lower than that of capital goods stocks. These stocks have consolidated for 2 or 3 years. Nobody's expecting anything from them. They are no longer the darlings. So is it time to, let's say, think slightly differently, that if we get a good monsoon, if rural economy recovers, if all goes well for economy, if inflation is moderate, next 6 months could be the patch of outperformance for consumer staples?
6 months to a year, I would say, Nikunj, and you have to buy then a mix of consumer companies. So that's what we are also trying to do. So I think Dabur is something which we further added 2-3 days back, also when it went to near 500 levels. And I believe that at these valuations, it offers good potential. So if you look at from a return perspective, many of the capital goods stocks, it will be tough to justify that they can go up further 20-25% from here by next year. But some of the consumer names can, even the larger ones, which are the safer ones. And what people have to realize is consumer companies, these are cash-rich companies, they pay out dividend, they don't raise equity. So the equity capital doesn't expand. So when the recovery cycle happens, it goes to the current shareholders. So Dabur definitely, HUL is a good contrarian bet. And like we discussed earlier also, so we are also slowly accumulating stocks like Page Industries, Vedant Fashions, etc. as something which could also benefit as the consumer sentiment revives.
संदीप सब्बरवाल आप उल्टा कर रहे हो. हर चीज उल्टा करने में मजा आता है. I've seen you over the years, right? उल्टा ही करने का बस.
उल्टा करने से उल्टा गिरने का रिस्क कम रहता है.
कुणाल बोलता है स्ट्रेंथ में भैया ऐसा नहीं करते, राइट कुणाल? He's changing the theory completely.
I think we are.
चार्ट से उल्टा नहीं करना, राइट? जहाँ सेलिंग है सेलिंग करने का.
हाँ, that is true.
Okay. Remember the Jaspal Bhatti show, Ulta Pulta?
Yeah. Flop Show was the name of the show.
The Ulta Pulta was
the jingle.
Yeah, Ulta Pulta was the jingle. Just remember, okay. You know, investing is about buying contrarian, technicals is about staying with strength. They both are right. But it's just the approach has to be different. That's the point which we say. Technically, if you are trying to sell strength, it's a problem. Fundamentally, if you're trying to buy something which is priced to perfection, there is a problem. How simple is that? But that's the way you really need to approach and define where you stand in terms of a very, very basic approach. Bit of an investment gyan today, right, Sandeep?
Yeah, and also it's a question of time horizon, right? So what's the time horizon you're looking at? For example, when we bought Voltas, it remained at the same price for a few months. So then you have to have the patience to ride out that thing. So in terms of a technical indicator, it wouldn't give a technical indicator when it's just languishing or not doing anything. But eventually it does. So I think that's so there are very different strategies and time horizons you're playing with.
81, that's Voltas for you. 1 month change, 21% higher. Is this long summer trade, Sandeep, over, or this trade could move from Voltas to Varun Beverages and some other stocks also?
Well, the demand scenario is very, very strong. And in fact, it's very strong on various products. So what happens is once the revival cycle happens, it goes across to other segments of the market also. Because many of these products, so one is that for ACs and fans, specifically 3 years were bad because some COVID impact, then mild start to summers, early rains, etc. Now it's a huge pent-up demand. So as per what I've been hearing from the companies, the demand for fans, in fact, is one much more aggressively positive than ACs. And that's something which could get reflected in the results of some other companies also.
Sandeep, and irrespective of your contrarian approach, you continue to be a fan of Interglobe Aviation as well. Still finding it cheap?
See, so people tend to value airline companies very differently now. The point is that in India, they have such a dominant presence, and the dominant presence is unlikely to be challenged anytime in the next 2-3 years at least. So even if, let's say, hypothetically, some new airline comes in, or it will take a very long time for them to become anything substantial. So in fact, after I was just studying the financials, etc. I myself got surprised yesterday when I saw that the stock traded just 10 times next year earnings, even at these prices. So I think the way airlines are valued in Western economies and way Interglobe can ideally be valued are very different. There is cyclicality for sure, and fuel price does impact their profitability significantly at various points of time. There are peak seasons, there are seasons after the peak where these companies tend to make some losses also. But taking everything into account, I would still think that Interglobe can still do well if you have a decent enough horizon.
Kunal, you think it can ease off anywhere from that 4,100 price point, or would it continue to hold on to that?
I think it should continue to march up higher because it's not that the stock has seen a vertical kind of a rally. We've not seen any consecutive weeks, consecutive months of 10%, 15%, 20% kind of a gain for Interglobe Aviation. It's been more staggered for the stock when we look at the recent breakout also from 3,000 to 4,000 plus levels where the stock is trading right now. There was a bout of mild correction also, I think, a couple of weeks back. And I think the stock had corrected by some 200 to 50 odd points, and from there on the stock had recovered, breaking past about the 3,700 mark. So there have been a lot of pauses, intermittent pauses in between for Interglobe Aviation. I think that's why I would probably believe that because of the stable nature of uptrend, these stocks, they they are not susceptible towards major bouts of correction or volatility. I think that's a positive sign for a stock like Interglobe.
Bunch of other names which are also going to be in focus. While of course all eyes are going to be on Bajaj Finance and the kind of rub off it may have on the rest of the financial sector. Whether the selling abates on Kotak Bank, and do you actually see ICICI Bank, which was also a little bit under pressure, actually recover from there or not? But look out for Ajanta Pharma as well. They've posted a strong fourth quarter. The board has approved a buyback as well to the tune of about 285 crore rupees. So that's going to be one stock in focus. Voltamp as well. The net profit has seen an uptick of 22%. I think that's going to go down well with the street. On the weak links though, SEAT, the net profit has seen a downtick of 22%. We're going to be chatting with the management as well in the due course of the show. Even for Coal India, the fourth quarter numbers have been weak. The EBITDA has seen a dip. And Coforge, of course, not just the earnings, but the acquisition, all of it is going to be in focus this morning. So look out for some of these names in trade. But Sandip, what's the larger call on the broader markets right now? Because, you know, many were believing that it's getting a little toppish. You saw that March ease off come in, and that very swiftly got bought into. And I think a clear telltale sign is the way some of these stocks like a PFC, REC have been moving up on a daily basis back again.
Aisha, overall froth is definitely there. So I think there's too much conviction of people around a set of stocks, and those continuously are moving up. So whenever the correction plays out, many of these stocks will for sure correct 20-30% or more also possibly. So I think that's something which investors need to be ready for. However, the result delivery of many companies is quite positive, and we've seen that many companies have reported results and then bounced back, and they tend to be ignored sectors also, like we were discussing. So the opportunity overall in the broader market will remain, but there are segments of significant overvaluation also.
All right, 9 a.m. Let's check in as to what exactly those pre-open rates are indicating. Do remember, we did have a fairly decent handover coming in from Wall Street. Asia's a bit mixed, but by and large positive, barring the Nikkei. And for now, it's looking at about a print of about 22,800, touch and go. And for the Sensex, up in the green. So let's find out those mid-cap trading calls then. And Kunal, what are you tracking?
So that we ban HBL Power, that stock, on yesterday's price action chart looks to be forming a strong bullish flag formation on the daily time frame. So after a corrective phase in the month of March, a recovery in the consecutive next couple of weeks, the stock is now inching towards a breakout of the previous highs in the month of March. So would suggest a buy with 600 plus as a target over the near term, and stop loss could be kept at 515 for HBL.
Okay, watch out for that stock.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.